On today's video, we're diving in, taking a look at this Egretech Sonic 600 watt power station. So if you're into vehicle camping, off-road camping, that kind of stuff, or just camping in general, where you need a way to power your mobile devices, cooking equipment, anything that you might need to plug in, then let's take a look at this, show you if this is going to be a good investment for you or not. This thing feels pretty high quality so far, but we're going to dive into it, looking at the specs, looking at what makes this thing what it is. All right, let's get into it right now. So let's get this thing unboxed. So on the box here, very standard packaging, kind of gives a little bit of a breakdown of some of the components that you can expect out of this thing. Gives you the model number of the Sonic 600W. Over here, we can see that for the different countries that you may be a part of, you can pick which one. So we do have the US model, and what that is going to be is the different plug types. So down here we have a standard plug that you'd find in the US, and that's the model we chose. On the back here, you have just a little bit more of a breakdown, basic operation of the unit, just some tips for charging before you use it, that kind of things. So let's go ahead and tear this thing open. So opening this thing up, we have owner's manual here. Go ahead and take a look at that here in a second. Looks like we have some different types of cables. This right here is like an outlet you'd find in your vehicle, a 12-volt outlet. That way you can charge it. The middle is just the handle. Right here looks like the standard plug to plug this into a wall outlet. That way you can charge the unit. Get this foam out of the way. So it's pretty good foam too. Let's go ahead and get the unit out. It looks like it was nestled in some pretty good foam down here too, so not worried about the packaging, even though it was a little damaged back here. Plenty of foam padding, that way the unit's protected. All right, let's get this thing out of the plastic. So there you go, that's the unboxing. Very easy to get out of the box. Doesn't come with a lot of different components. Very nice and simplistic. Overall, feels like very good construction. So that's pretty much it for the unboxing. Different power cables, you got your unit, owner's manual, and that's about it. Since we haven't used it yet, we're gonna go ahead and break out the standard wall plug, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing charged up, and then we'll head back out for the testing. So we went ahead and plugged this in, not all the way charged, and you can see it's working, it's magic over here. So we're gonna go ahead and let this thing charge overnight, and then we'll go back and do the field test tomorrow. So let's dive in, looking at the specs on this thing. So first up, this thing's about 40% smaller and 20% lighter than just about anything in this category out there on the market. So it makes it a lot more portable, a lot more packable, and more compact. So it's not going to be taking up as much space, but you're still getting the same power output. So it does have a compact design. It's about 6 inches wide, 6 inches tall, and about 10 inches long. So relatively portable here, and it only weighs about 11.5 pounds. So it's not going to be weighing you down if you need to carry this thing out somewhere. Maybe your campsite is way out there, you're doing some tent camping, it's out in like a remote area, you're still going to be able to carry this thing in. And it does have a really nice beefy carry handle. It is a plastic handle, but this thing is pretty thick. You can see it's probably it's more than 1/4 of an inch thick. But that thing is a pretty beefy little handle. So this thing does have about 500 running watts. It's advertised as 600 peak watts. And this thing can charge up to about 6 devices at one time. So you have 2 USB-C ports right here. You have 2 USB-A ports. And then you have your regular power outlet right here. And depending on which country's model you get, you're going to have a different outlet right here. That's what makes it different. And then you have your AC plug-in right here, where you can use the provided cable to charge this thing up. And then for the DC over here, you can use that to charge your vehicle, which it does have a provided vehicle charger as well. So maybe you're out there doing some off-grid camping and you want to plug this thing into your vehicle to keep it powered up. That way you can power your devices and things like that at night or whenever you may need it in your tent or at your off-grid site. So right here, you can toggle between the DC and the AC settings. So if you're going to be charging anything over here on this side with the USB ports, then it's going to be activated by the DC setting here. Anything over here with the plug-in is going to be the AC. So let's go ahead and get this thing turned on. So you just hold down the power button right here. And one thing we did before we actually used this is we went ahead and charged it up all the way. The manufacturer does recommend that you go ahead and give it a full charge before you start using it. So like we said, if we wanted to use the DC sides, you push DC. So it is going to give you an hour's reading right here and the wattage that you're using. So let's say we're going to go through and test it here in a minute, but we're going to plug in some different things and you're going to be able to see how much battery life you're going to have left with using that type of equipment. So if you have a cell phone plugged in, it says you can charge a normal cell phone just about 37 times with a full charge on this unit, which is pretty good. I mean, for a unit this size, that is relatively good. You can see we have the DC selected right here. And then it's showing USB and Type-C ports are activated. And then now we turn on the AC and the DC. You can see the AC went up. And sorry if there's a little bit of glare. It's because of the LED display here. It's kind of throwing off the camera. But if we want to deselect the DC and save some power there, we can do that and just run the AC by itself. So pretty nice little display. I like how this display is. It gives you all the details you need to know about and really nothing else, which is really nice. It doesn't cloud up the whole little view screen that we have here. You also have a little 12-volt outlet right here. So same as charging this with your vehicle, you could go ahead and utilize this the same way. So let's say you had a charger for another piece of equipment that took this type of 12-volt charger like you'd use in a car. Then you could plug it right here and use that as well. So let's go ahead and get into the testing of this and see what type of loads we can put on this. We'll probably charge a cell phone or two. We'll probably go ahead and hook up a GoPro, maybe a fan or something like that, show you what kind of power is going to get pulled from one of these. So this does have Egretech's G-Flow bidirectional inverter, and that is making this thing a lot faster to charge. So if you want to get this up to 80%, you can do that within 1 hour. So you plug it into the AC port, and within 1 hour, this thing can be 80% charged up, which is really fast. I mean, that's faster than most of them out on the market. And then for 140 hours, it'll get all the way up to max charge. And that's if you deplete it all the way down to zero. So, you know, depending on where it's at, let's say we're only halfway, it's going to be a lot less time to get that thing charged all the way up. So let me talk about the charging methods real quick. So we've already talked about two of them. We got the DC cord, we have the AC cord, and then you also can purchase a set of solar panels that are compatible with this, and you can plug it in right here and making it solar panel powered. So it's going to be a lot more time to charge it up. But if you're out there off grid and you, let's say you don't have a vehicle to charge this up, or you need to just keep this charged throughout the day, you can have your solar panels out, keeping this thing charged up, and you're going to be good to go. I'm pretty sure the solar panels that Egretech makes are very lightweight and portable as well, just like this unit is. So you're going to be covered on all bases. So 3 different charging methods. That's pretty cool. So yeah, depending on what your applications are, then there you go. You got some different options there. All right, let's get into testing the different load ratings on this thing. So if you're into shooting videos and stuff, like a lot of people are, and you're looking to charge up your camera equipment, a common one is GoPro batteries. So we're going to go ahead and see what kind of charge time we're going to get with plugging this in straight to the USB. Okay, we have to switch it over to the DC. All right, well, it is charging. It's not really registering anything, so, You know, maybe it's not drawing much power at all. That's what I'm guessing at this point. It's not showing any type of wattage output, but you can see it is charging it. So these kind of batteries right here just get pretty much trickle charged really, really slowly. So that's probably why it's not drawing too much. But there you go. I wish it kind of told us maybe how many hours we have left with this, but maybe that's accurate. 99 hours, maybe that is true to what it is. So let's go ahead and try something else. We're gonna go ahead and charge the battery for this DSLR camera right here. We got the little charger plugged in. I'm gonna switch it to, all right, there we go. So we had AC turned on already. So we're looking at 99 hours still, but it is pulling 4 watts. So there you go. You see it doesn't take a lot of power to charge one of these things up. Dropped down to 92 and it's going back and forth. So you can see, I guess it does vary depending on the flow of the power going into it. But not bad there. This is a little bit bigger battery than the GoPro batteries. So that's probably why it's pulling a little bit more. All right, let's try something else. So let's say you're out and you need to charge something like this, like a drill. We got the charging dock right here. We're gonna go ahead and plug this thing in. There we go. So you can see right there, it's gonna pull a lot more power. It's a lot bigger of a battery. So it's showing that we have 10 hours remaining on the life of this battery, and then we have 45 watts being pulled to charge this thing up right now. So pretty cool little display. I like how that display is. Too bad just the screen itself, you can't really, it's kind of distorted looking, but it's really clear on the actual display. So I wish that would show up a little bit better on the camera, but unfortunately it's not. So we do have a guitar amp over here. Maybe you're into playing music when you're camping and you want to bring along your electric guitar. We're going to go ahead and plug this in. This is a 50-watt amplifier. So we're going to plug that in. It's probably going to pull quite a bit of power. Let's see if we can even charge it with this unit. So you can see it went up quite a bit from what it was a minute ago with the drill battery. With this thing plugged in, it's showing 46 hours remaining on the battery life of the unit, and it's pulling 10 watts right now to charge this thing up, or to run it. It's not really charging it, it's actively running the amplifier. So let's try something else. A lot of people, when they go camping, they'll bring a rice maker. So we have a really big rice maker right here, and we're gonna go ahead and plug it in and see what we get. There we go. All right, so we're running the rice maker on cook right now. So it's pulling a lot of power. 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. It's going up a little bit remaining on the battery life of the unit, and it's pulling 83 watts. You can see it's fluctuating. It's gonna fluctuate depending on what the actual equipment is gonna be doing, if it's, you know, fluctuating its power requirements. But you can kind of see the reading right there. It's gonna give you a pretty good gauge on how much battery life's going to be left once this thing kind of settles out. So there you go. This thing seems to be a very high quality product. Only time will tell. We're going to be putting this thing through its paces over probably the next few months, all the way through the year, and seeing how this thing performs. So if you're interested in seeing follow-up videos on this, please check out my channel, like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can get those videos. But here in the next 2 months, we're moving to Alaska, so I'm going to be filming my entire trip up to Alaska, and we're going to be using items like this along the way. We have a camper we're going to be pulling, and we're going to be making a whole trip out of it. So I guarantee you we're going to be using this along the way to power some different things, because we're going to be doing some hiking, things like that. So check out those videos. But overall, my assessment of this is that it's pretty good. I like the display. And like I mentioned, unfortunately, the display on the camera doesn't pick it up that well, and it makes it kind of look a little cloudy and distorted, but it's not at all. It's a very nice digital display. It's very clear, and there's a protective film across it. That would have made a difference with the camera. It is completely clear, but nonetheless, it has a really good display. So don't let the video footage deter you from thinking that this isn't a good display, because it really is. You just can't tell on the camera. I really like how you can kind of select the different options that you want to use. You don't just have to pull power all the time on all of them. And I like the different capabilities, such as the USB-C. That's very modern. Not a lot of power banks like this have the USB-Cs. So it's good to see that they're getting with modern times. So that's going to eliminate, like if you have an iPhone, having to bring out the little charging ports. You can just plug your cable right into the unit here. And I like where there's a solar panel option. That's really cool. We're probably going to be upgrading, getting the solar panels here soon, and hopefully put those to the test as well. But overall, this unit is built really good. Nice metal construction. I like how it has the rubber pads on the bottom. We didn't talk about that, but those seem very high quality. And the handle is really good as well. I mean, overall, this thing, looks pretty good, and it performs. Oh, I forgot to mention, it does have a light on the back. So there you go. Very bright LED light, and it can go into a strobe. So maybe you're trying to get somebody's attention. You never know when you're off-grid camping what you might need a strobe light for. This right here, you can use it as a signal. There you go. You got more intense. And back to the steady. So I forgot to mention that in the main part of the review, but nonetheless, I think this thing is a good option. So if you're very active in the outdoors and you need something like this, go over to Egretech's website. I think they have these on Amazon as well. So I'll place a link in the description box for both of those. So check it out, guys. I think it's a good option.